Urbanski was fueled by hate when he stabbed Richard Collins III to death. But Urbanski's attorneys say there is no evidence this was a hate crime. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren is live in Upper Marlboro. He has been following the developments from court today. Mike?
Denise, the defense blames alcohol and says their client was drunk at 3 times the legal limit at the time of the killing. Prosecutors say he poisoned his mind with racist images they found on his phone. The prosecutor held this picture of Lieutenant Richard Collins III during his opening statement, telling jurors the 23-year-old was killed because of the color of his skin. He spoke to a courtroom packed with Collins' friends and family.
It was important for us to be in the courtroom just to show up, to be a part of what is going on, to show the family that they do have support.
The defendant, Sean Urbanski, is charged with first-degree murder and a hate crime for stabbing Collins at this bus stop on the edge of the University of Maryland College Park campus in May 2017.
I always seem to find a way to overcome that adversity.
Collins, a Bowie State University student visiting friends, had just been commissioned into the Army. Here he is less than 48 hours before his death.
Happiness is today the day that I get to be with all my friends, family.
The prosecution showed jurors video of the homicide. Collins' parents left the courtroom and could not bear to watch it. In that video, Urbanski walks up to Collins as he stands with 2 other people, one white, one Asian, and suddenly stabs him with a folding knife. Collins still has his hands in his pockets. The prosecutor said he walked up to him and targeted him for no reason than him being a black man. He was the only black man at that bus stop at that time. The prosecutor told jurors about Urbanski's membership in the Facebook group Alt-Right Nation and showed jurors pictures of racist memes found on his phone. But Urbanski's defense attorney argues his client was not racist, but drunk 3 times the legal limit. He said the state has attempted to make this case something it is not. They have used race to divide this community. There is no evidence this was a planned, racially motivated attack. And the victim's father testified in the courtroom today. He said he worried about his son joining the Army. He was supposed to be stationed in Korea at the demilitarized zone, but he never thought he'd be killed here in Maryland. Reporting live in Upper Marlboro, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there, and like I told you, I will be giving you updates when it comes to this case. So this all happened today on the first official day of the trial. The last update that I gave you was the jury selection being complete. Today was when they decided to talk or go into more detail. For the first time ever, the jury was able to see the surveillance footage of Richard Collins III being killed. Now, I didn't know that there was actual footage of that, but I guess there will be cameras around there because it is on a college campus, so for security and safety reasons there will be cameras there. And I can understand the family not being there, not wanting to be in the same room and having to watch in living color their son being murdered by this monster. I can't even call it a human because no human being could do something like this. Now, his attorneys are laying it on thick. They are determined to convince this jury that this was not a hate crime, that this was not a racial motivated crime. Although all the evidence leading up to this proves that it is. I mean, from everything on his social media accounts, like him being a part of these alt-right groups, however you want to put it, to him basically targeting Richard Collins III when he was there with a white man and an Asian woman. And I wonder if they're going to call them to the stand as witnesses, seeing as how those two were there with him when he was killed. And I know it had to be very hard for his dad to get up on that stand and had to, say what he said. And also, they're trying to use the excuse of him being drunk, as if racists don't drink. They do and function like a lot of other people do, but they do extreme things because of hatred, but do other things out of hatred for other groups of people because of what it is they practice or basically the color of their skin. And then they said that his mind was poisoned with racist images. Y'all just basically told on yourselves by saying that he is indeed racist. Like I said, this whole thing should fall apart for them, and this should be a quick open and shut case. Like, with all this stuff coming out about this right here, I'm telling you, if he walks from this or something along those lines, if he gets anything less than life without parole, it's going to be a huge, huge problem in PG County. A huge problem. And the thing is, I think I know where that courthouse is, where this case is being held at. If I'm not mistaken, I think I almost did jury duty there, not for this case, but when I had to do or was about to do jury duty, but I got dismissed, so I didn't have to do it. I'm not sure if it's the same courthouse or not, but I think it is. So I can only imagine having to be in that courtroom with this vile, vicious, demonic entity that is disguised as a human being. But yeah, that's pretty much the update that we have right now. But one thing I've always said is that I hate when my intelligence is insulted, and his attorneys are insulting all of our intelligence, trying to say that this wasn't a racially motivated attack when clearly it was. Even what he said to Richard Collins when he was saying move to the left or something, whatever it was he said, I've heard that when a racist person says that to somebody else, then that basically is a racial attack that's getting ready to happen. And also, one other thing, and I'm going to end the video, I just want to make sure I have everything out on this video. They said this had nothing to do with race. It had everything to do with place. Basically saying that Richard Collins III was at the wrong place at the wrong time. That is something straight out of the Jim Crow handbook. That's what they used to tell black people back in the day when they would get killed by those palm-colored terrorists back during Jim Crow, back in the 50s and 60s, probably even the 40s, and even before then. They will ask them, why did you kill so-and-so? Well, they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. That would come out of the mouths of the murderer and out of the mouths of their attorneys. And sometimes out of the mouths of the judges and their community at large. Well, he shouldn't have been here after so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, so you get what I mean. So when they said it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with place, they're basically trying to say that Richard Collins III should not have been there at that time on that campus during those times. His white friend was welcome there. His Asian friend was welcome there, but apparently he wasn't. And then I also had read somewhere, because they didn't put this in here, but I remember from another article, I keep saying I'm in the video, but I want to make sure I get all of this out. They even tried to insult our intelligence again and saying that Sean Urbanski was upset because he had fallen a classification behind his friends because he was basically failing classes. I said, get out of here with that. Get out of my face with that BS. Like, they are literally trying everything they can to get him to walk. But it's like anyone who is of sound and sane mind can see that all of this is a crock of BS. All of it. But we'll see what happens with day 2. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.